G'day, Aussie Bonsai Bloke here, how you go? Today I'm going to work on the pepper tree, and I'm going to be repotting it and giving it a bit of a trim back. First though, I wanted to show you this. This is the few pots that I got off the side of the road. The missus was on Facebook on Saturday morning, and she goes, "Oh, the post just went up." So we quickly whipped into town, curbside collection, just the post went up saying free, junk on the side of the road. Had pictures of the bonsai pots, so we raced there. And lo and behold, they're still bloody there. So I'm cheering. So I've got some free pots. I don't think there's any sort of expense to them, but they look pretty cool. This one's actually got a few pictures on the side. Not pictures, a face. Got a face on it. I've got no idea where these pots come from. I don't think they're that old, I don't know, who knows. But that's not the point. The point is they're free. And I'm cheering. So we got that one. That's a big round one. Probably be good for one of you ficus people to put one of your big ficus in there. And then we got this one here. Pretty good neck. The only one that's a little bit damaged is this one. It's got a bit of a crack on the corner here, but it's fine. And just show you the other side. So pretty cool. That's really cool. Don't know what sort of glaze or what they use, but there's all different colours in the actual firing or the glaze, I'm not sure. But anyway, pots, so I'm going to use one of them straight away to repot this pepper tree into. Probably choose the bigger one of them because the pepper tree is fairly big. First, I'll go get the pepper tree. Cheers. Okay guys, this is my pepper tree. I've had this pepper tree, I reckon about 7 or 8 years. I collected it from the neighbour's house, maybe nearly 9 years. Oh, freaking hell. Oh man, that dog. The dog just went mad and took out some of my lights, so. Anyway, so I reckon about 9 years I've had this thing, and I must say, every winter, it always looks a bit sick and sad like this every single winter. They just don't like the real cold, but they always grow out of it. Anyway, I've had it in this pot now for, well, pot, it's a, a wood box that I made. I think it's Peppercorn wood, so it's actually lasted about, I'd say, nearly 5 years in this pot. So I'm going to rip it out of this one. Clean up all these weeds. You can see all the weeds, but I didn't bother weeding it because I knew I was repotting it. And I'll give it a bit of a trim back. I'll just give it a spin so we can, you can have a look now and have a look later. And by the way too, that's on that stainless steel turntable from Adrian. That one that he sent me. Pretty cool. I'll just do a good spin again. You can see how stable it is. Quite stable on there. Really stable. Quite thin too, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, that's his turntable. Stainless steel, lasts a lifetime. And that's that. Alright, so what we'll do first is I'll get it off the turntable and then I'll pull the pot apart. I don't think I'll be using that wood box again, so my plan will be I'll just either get a jemmy bar or a hammer and smash the wood off and clean up the roots and repot it. I might trim it first actually, just so branches don't get in the way. So let's do a bit of trimming. Okay, so let's do some trimming. So I've left it on Adrian's stainless steel turntable there. I'll just go and get you the sticker stencil thing he gave me, just to show you his details. Go. Just show you the details of the turntable again. His phone number if you want to get in contact with him. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. As you can see, I can really I'll give it a good whiz. Ready? You watch it go round. It's done an absolutely beautiful job with them. And it feels so stable on there too. Stable as. Anyway, let's get to trimming. So to trim it, all I'm going to be doing is going back to, so I'll have one branch, I'll be going back to 2 branches out of each location, and basically pruning back for ramification, leaving a short shoot for it to divide again out of. Excuse me, down the bottom, I'm probably going to be keeping fatter branches to really let it spread out. Up the top, I'll probably choose some finer ones, and like I said, a lot of these leaves look pretty old and had it on here, but that's what these pepper trees do during winter. But they come back fine in spring and have nice new healthy looking shoots on again. Plus I haven't repotted this for, I think it's probably nearly 5 years, so that doesn't help either. Alright, let's get to it. So I'll just trim them back short, leaving just the odd leaf on there. Maybe just 2 lots of leaves on each branch that I cut back. Unless there's some really long internodes. If there's some branches crossing, you know, I don't really care. Decided that doesn't bother me, you know. I don't mind a bit of craziness. So they've got a branch here which you could bend up like this and have it fill in here, or this one, but you know, they naturally weep down. I'm going to let them cross over each other on this particular tree. Normally you might want to, you know, normally you might want to have them fill in the gaps without crossing over, but on this tree I'm not too worried. Plus the quality of this tree is not that great anyway. To be honest, I've neglected it over the last few years because I wasn't overly happy with it, and basically as a result I've just kept it alive and that's it. I'll tell you what, one thing though, when you work on these pepper trees, they put out really nice smell. I quite like the smell that they put out. So originally I think this had a hollow trunk. I gave it a bit of carving, but I'll show you later there was no need to do any carving because the white ants have been in there and helped me out with that. I'll show you where the white ants have been, which doesn't bother me at all. They've done a good job, way better than I could do. And to be honest, the wood on a pepper tree is very soft anyway. So unless you treated it with some L's wood hardener or yeah, some sort of plasticizing, you know, treatment, so it sort of plasticizes the wood, you're going to get some, you know, you're going to lose your dead wood anyway. Okay, so I'm just still cutting it back here. So yeah, those pots, pretty excited, you know, that pot, those 3 pots for free from the fact that the missus was on Facebook and she'd seen them for me, so she was a great woman to do that for me. So she must secretly like my hobby, otherwise she wouldn't have done that for me, that's for sure. At least I know she still loves me anyway. Anyway, So that's going to be the common theme of this video today. I've got a free turntable, a free tree because I dug it up from the neighbour's house. They moved out, didn't want it. Not many people want pepper trees in their backyard because they are a bit of a pest. Free tree, free turntable, and I'm going to put it in a free pot. The only thing that's going to cost me money is the potting soil that I put in the pot. Otherwise everything else will be free. My time's free, obviously. Man, that dog just let off a stinky fart and it just really stinks. That's not good. You've been eating there, boy. So I'll just turn it so that you can see. As you can see, the leaf on a pepper tree is quite long. The actual leaf, is the actual, this whole bit here is the whole leaf. So if you wanted to really make it look nice and small and compact, you would probably cut leaves back like so. And you never like that, but I'm not going to be doing that because I actually want to have a little bit more surface area to collect a bit of sun, so it, you know, comes out into spring okay. Because at the moment, you know, it's had a hard winter. It always does, like I say, and I don't want to remove all the leaves. It'll shoot back fine though. Even if you completely defoliate this, it would shoot back okay. When I first got this tree, I actually went crazy on a repot. Not this one, but the pot before this, I went crazy on a repot and seriously put it into way too small a pot. I lost every leaf on it. This was in spring. The new leaves had already shot out. I put it in a really small pot. It lost all its leaves. I thought it was going to die, and it took about 2 months, and finally, some new fresh leaves started coming out. You could see like the sort of red tips just bulging out from all the nodes. And it finally grew. So I almost lost this tree in the early years. But thankfully it survived. I'm really grown to quite like this tree. Like I say, I've neglected it lately, but it's alright. Age takes care of everything. Okay, so we got a weird branch in here. You can see in here we got the upward branch, the low branch, and then we got this middle branch here, which comes from inside the fork. It looks like it's a few years old, but it's in a really crazy location. So what you could do is you could keep the top one, get rid of the bottom one, but in this case I quite like the bottom one, and the middle one in here is actually a bit thin because this is, you know, close to the bottom of the tree. We want to keep some fatter branches. So I'll clean that out. And that's about it. Your hands get pretty sticky working on a pepper tree, which they are. That's about it. I'll give you a quick spin and then we'll get into the repot. You can see how easy this thing spins. Crazy easy. Alright, I'll get into the repot. Okay, so I'll try and lever it apart with this jimmy bar, or maybe I can just hit this down here with the hammer. Whoops, get it off that turntable. I don't want to stress out the old stainless steel turntable, although it's probably up to the task. I don't want to try it. Alright, so I'll get here and I'll hammer away. At least this time I don't have to worry about breaking the bloody pot like last time. Just have a look. All good. Alright, so I'll probably just get it in here. And try and lever it off. Yeah, it looks like it's going to come pretty easy. No, the wood's... This thing's been in here a long time. It's fairly soft wood now. Put it on the ground. Make a bit of a mess. Do the same on this side. Yeah, that one's going to come off even easier. This box has done its job though, you know, made the tree recover, because like I said, when I put it in too small a pot and it nearly died, I actually quickly did like an emergency repotting to this one, put it back into a bigger pot, and it survived. So the pot's done its job. Got an absolute mess on the ground down there. Got some bloody weird, almost translucent root there. Maybe some creeping oxalis, I'm not sure. Almost like a bloody sea cucumber. Right, so that's that. I'll see if I can get the bottom off. That was bloody easy, wasn't it? It's another one of those things. Leo, you're gonna get an arm in your bug. Settle down. There we go, another one of those weird things. Okay, so now what we're going to do, going to get the root rake, go around the edges, just clear off some of these weeds. Don't know what we're going to find in here. Been a while since I've done any repot on this thing. The weeds. I'm not going to completely bare root it. I'm just going to scrape the top off with all the weeds. Then scratch the sides and the bottom a bit, and then get it back into a different pot. Thankfully, I haven't cleaned the shed lately, so all this mess on the ground is not going to matter. Right, no worries. I'm going to go around the whole tree and do that. I'll also do it on the sides, like so. You can see that. I'll clear most of the dirt out, but I'll leave some. And I'll also do the bottom, like so. Just clean it out a bit. And I'll get back to you once I've done all that. Cheers. Okay guys, we've got a fair old mess. I'll just show you on the ground. Bloody crap everywhere. Just absolute mess. That's what repotting in the shed does. But that's what I do for you guys. I do it in the shed. I'd normally do it outside, but it's windy outside and wouldn't make very good for video. So anyway, I'll clean it up. Nothing a broom won't fix. Right, so let's get into it. So this is a pot that I've chosen for it. This is my free pot from the Facebook post on the weekend. I like the other side better, the darker colour, but the problem is that's got a chip there, so this side's got a little bit of a light patch there. I also could get, I'll just show you, I could also use the other pot. I'm just trying to think. About the same size, you know. It's a bit darker. I don't know whether to use the darker one or the... I'll use the lighter one for now with the chip in it. Pretty similar size pots. Anyway, let's see if she fits. Okay, so the front is actually over here. Okay, so got a few roots hanging up in the air. Might fit. You could possibly squeeze it in there. What I'll do, I don't want to go too silly like I did previously and it dies on me, but we've got a lot of these long roots that don't really have a lot of feeder roots on it. Even this big one here, all it's got is this little bit at the end. Chop that one off. Just chop some of these high ones off. Still got some weeds in there. A few weeds. If I chop some of these high ones off, it means that I can lift the tree a bit more, and it doesn't have to be quite so deep in the pot. I'll just have a look on the back. So on the back here we've got some really high ones up here. I'll get rid of them. You can see the mix that I had it in must have been too organic, because there's no real divisions in the roots, and they've actually just circled the pot. It's actually a big root here, which has just circled the tree. Good idea to get rid of that now. Okay, so that's that. It's not too bad there. We'll neaten that root up there. Got a real long one here. I'll chop that back to some finer roots. Some underneath here, I'll do the same. Just chop it back. Hopefully it'll try and encourage some better feeder roots. It's got a lot of long thick roots here and not too many on the way of feeder roots, so I don't want to go too crazy on it, but I do want to try to encourage some feeder roots. Did notice it's got a lot of roots on it. I don't think I'll cut it off, but there's actually, don't know if you can hear that, but that's an old root from when it was originally collected. Okay guys, well, as normal I've taken more off than I ever planned to, which is pretty much every repotting I've ever done. I get carried away. What I ended up doing, because I wanted to sit flat in there, so I got the saw out and just cut that really heavy section off the bottom there, but there is still a lot of roots around here. Should be fine, and I haven't interrupted the core of the soil here where there should hopefully be a lot of fine feeder roots. But I'll just show you now. You can see that it fits in there pretty easy now, quite deep, whereas before with those roots on it was sitting up like that. So now what it will allow us to do is put a thin layer of bonsai mix on the bottom, then have the tree, and then work some soil into the sides, so it should work out pretty good. So anyway, first thing, I just get a bit of, I don't know whether this is like a tree guard or gutter guard, but anyway, it's in a tube, this one. And all I do is cut some off, cut a bit off. Some people even use fly screen, you know, for your house. Even the iron stuff's okay, like that. Now I just chuck that in the bottom, simply like that. Chuck some soil in. Just smooth that out. Maybe a bit of a mound on the bottom, but it's a fairly flat bottom, so it won't really matter. Okay. Then we'll get this tree, and I'll work it into that soil a bit. You can see it's pretty well worked in there. I do want to actually, I'll put another handful of soil under this side of the tree over here, just to help it sort of lean up a bit more, because it was laying over a bit much. It's got a good lean forward, so I'm happy with that. It's got a good lean that way, so that's good. Pretty happy with that. Like I say, I reckon it's going to be quite a nice tree in the future, this one. Still got a crossing branch at the front here, but oh yeah, I can get it out. Get it out and send it downwards, so it's not crossing. Now all I'm going to do is just go around the tree, filling in the sides. First, there's a few high roots still on this side. I'll get rid of them. I know I've chopped off enough roots, but those will never meet the soil, you know, they're a long, long way up. Now that I know the exact height, I can go along and chop some of those real high ones off. So yeah, pretty happy with this pot, free pot. I'm not sure how much it suits the tree, but I don't think it's too bad. So I'll put that in there, and I'll get my root rake, put a handful in, get my root rake here, work the soil in, move it around in circles, keep feeding it in. You can see the soil level drops quite dramatically. That just works it in all the little cracks and crevices, just to make sure you got good, you know, solid amount of soil in there without any big air pockets, so you don't get any roots dying back. You know, you want it to keep as many roots as possible. Then you just sort of finish it off with your finger. And I'll go around the whole tree like that. No need to show you that, but what I'll do, I'll go around the whole tree, and then I'll show you, and then I'll get back to you after I've done that. Cheers. it's done, last thing I've got to do is just put some moss around this tree. And I think you remember my last video of repotting. I went and collected some moss. I still happen to have some left, so I'm just going to go around the tree and just put some moss around it. Nothing too hard about this. Just put it around. And what the moss does, one, it looks good. Two, any roots right near the surface like this one that get covered in the moss won't die, because the moss will keep them moist, keep them alive. It basically increases the surface area of the pot where it's viable for the roots to grow. So without the moss on top, you'd probably lose your first inch of soil as far as not being able to grow roots in there, because what would happen is that as that dries out in between watering, the roots just wouldn't be able to live in there, wouldn't come up. So you probably only have roots from there down. Whereas with the moss, gives it an extra inch, you know, which is probably 15 to 20% more room in this pot for the roots to grow. And that's why moss every tree that I own, moss the whole lot, just chuck it in there. And I will always moss everything, with pretty much no exceptions, especially here in Australia where it's so bloody hot. And I find as long as I water it enough, the moss seems to survive the summer okay, especially once you get a bit of a canopy on your tree, because it shades the moss a bit, puts the moss in the shade so that it doesn't get any real direct sunlight. So yeah, I try to mix it up a bit, different lots of moss. Although I must admit I did use the best of the moss on that last video I did, although there is still some good moss here. And yeah, you get the gist. I just go around, try to keep any weeds out of it. Go around doing that. Around the whole tree. So you've got the gist. I'll catch you when I finish that, give you a final look at the tree, and that'll be about it for the day. I'll give you a close up of the dead wood in there as well, where the termites have eaten it out. Cheers!
G'day, welcome back.
Actually really happy with how this has turned out, you know, it's given me renewed vigour for this tree. Pretty happy with how it's going. I've lifted it up a long way in the soil. It was buried to about there, and it was full of weeds as you've seen, but it was buried to about there. So I've lifted it up. It's made it look much more powerful. Obviously in a smaller pot. Oh, excuse me. I cut a lot of roots off, but not, you know, not excessive. A lot of the roots didn't have fine feeder roots, so I probably lost maybe close to half the roots, maybe not quite. I reduced a good half of the foliage as well, and got it into this pot that the missus found for me on the side of the road, so pretty happy with that. Anyway, I'll give you a spin of the tree. I've got it, you know, repotted, got it all mossed up, ready to go. And I'll give you a spin of the tree